Hello, my beautiful people. I hope that you're all doing so well. I hope that you're surviving. I hope that you're thriving. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. And most importantly, I hope that you have had a lovely, lovely week. If you haven't, I'm so sorry. I'm sending you lots of love, lots of support, lots of freaking, I don't even know, good vibes, I guess, ultimately. And I'm just sending you big hugs, lots of good vibes, lots of good energy, all of the things. I'm sorry, I feel you, I'm there with you. But anyway, welcome back to the Doing Love with Love and Magic. What am I saying? I honestly feel like I need to change the name of this podcast, because on bad days, I can't get it right. But welcome to the Doing Life with Love and Magic podcast. I'm your host, Ntwentle, and this is the space whereby I like to share my life's perspectives, observations, freaking learnings. What else do I like to share? The things that I like, the things that I don't like. Things that make me feel embarrassed, things that make me feel sad, things that make me feel happy, all of the above as I navigate through my 20s, albeit quite clumsily sometimes, and in small moments a little bit gracefully. And the reason why I do this is because I believe that the 20s are a very instrumental time in terms of, cultivating the persona that is you, that kind of getting clearer on what you love and what you don't love, and ultimately shaping yourself to be this person that you envision in your mind. And it's a place and a time whereby you can make mistakes, where you can experiment with things, and I just think we need to take every single opportunity to learn and grow while we're in our 20s, so that we can go forth and conquer in the world. And granted, learning and growing is not an experience that only happens during this time. It does transcend time, and it all just depends on the human being and the individualized experience and all of that stuff. That kind of dictates when you need to learn certain lessons and where. But for the most part, the 20s is a confusing time, and it can be a fun time as well. So my whole thing when it comes to this podcast is to share all of those moments, and also just sprinkle in things that I learned that can make it a little bit better, because it's not all doom and gloom. There are fabulous moments in between that we look back on and we're like, oh my gosh, 21 was the year because I did all of this cool shit. And then it's 25, oh gosh, did all of this and it was awful. So yeah. And anyway, as I share my experiences with you, if it offers you any sort of value in the form of entertainment or new perspectives that you didn't know, or being yes, I will do that, no, I won't do that, then that is amazing. I've done my job. And if you don't resonate, that's okay as well. There are plenty of creators in this world, and you just need to find what resonates with you. And that's basically the moral of life in general. So yeah, long spiel done, because the intro of every single episode has to have a spiel. You need to get why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And yeah, welcome. Hi, how you doing? Oh guys, it's absolutely crazy, all of the shit that's been happening lately. There's so much crazy shit that's happening right now. From political warfare that's happening at this moment in time. I feel like I'm not super well versed in giving commentary on that particular space, but if you want to read more about it and educate yourself, which I'm trying to do as much as possible, because I feel like I'm just not well equipped with the vocabulary to speak on these matters, please just check out my description. My description box. There's a whole bunch of links that I've put there on some articles that kind of can explain the situation that is happening with the Palestinians. So go and check it out if you just want to educate yourself. I feel like one of the big things in terms of just knowing how to help the situation, because I feel like sometimes we do tend to feel a little bit helpless with big and scary things that are happening in the world is like to be able to kind of inform yourself, and so you can inform other people, and just being very, like, I want to say open-minded in a sense, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just being very open-minded in the sense that you don't necessarily just go to one source for information, that you open up your horizons to all sorts of information to give you a little bit of a clearer view of actually what's going on and the conversations that are happening around the topic. So I highly encourage you to check it out, see where you can help, if you can help, like whether it's in the form of signing petitions, donating towards resources that will help the people that are directly impacted, or like alternatively like joining protests, marches, whatever it is that's close by to you that you feel safe to engage with. I think that is awesome. And also just not letting the conversation die, because one of the most important things is just to create as much awareness over the situation as possible, and enough public outcry that hopefully, like, you know, something happens where we can just stop all of this madness. So like I mentioned, just check out my description on all the ways in which you can help and get involved. It's just, and also just like some information on the situation, because we just got to keep ourselves informed during these times. And then so that's the big one, obviously, because people's lives are directly impacted. Not to say that these other events, people's lives are not impacted, but like also this like P. Diddy, Cassie, like lawsuit situation that's happening is absolutely insane as well. It just feels like there's so many things that are coming out of the woodworks that are shocking, and like everyone is just kind of like interested to see like what's going to happen next, like what sort of skeletons are going to be revealed from here on out. Like there's so much that we don't see that goes on behind the scenes that kind of just like impacts how certain people come into power, and it's absolutely crazy that, you know, in this day and age, like you have to resort to like some very shady business and some very shady ways of being in order to become successful, and it's just absolutely wild. So like I am terrified to see like what's coming next. I actually watched this video by what's that psychic's name, Sloan Bella, I think it was, because like a lot of people in the TikTok comments, because like obviously TikTok has been going off and everyone's been talking about the subject, and everyone's saying that they think P. Diddy is definitely guilty of all of the things that Cassie and some other people have accused him of being. And in the comments, some people were like, no, check out like the psychic on YouTube, like she had like a couple of predictions. She basically, they were saying no, like there were a couple of predictions that she made like 5 months ago about things coming to light and surfacing, in upcoming months. So like in this time now, sorry, I just got distracted for 2 seconds because I was like thinking 500 million miles away. But like a lot of the shit that she said 5 months ago is coming true now, and everyone's like, oh my gosh. And she made a lot of points in terms of she was making like a lot of points in terms of like how some of these people come into power, and like these people doing these rituals and weird activities, just to get some sort of power, and basically just using other people in order to like freaking harvest their energy. It was actually like insane, and it was quite scary as well, because I like to think of myself that's like, okay, yeah, people do some bad shit, but like there's a lot of good in the world, which yes there is, but like it's scary how people in power can manipulate people to kind of just bend at their will for the benefit of their success and growing like their platforms or whatever it is in their net worth. It's actually really, really scary, but I'm really hoping that whatever comes to light will put the perpetrators at hand, like behind bars almost, and just get some like what's the word I'm looking for? I guess get some, guys, I hate it when like I can't get the words, but give like resolvement almost to the people that have been impacted by the situations. Justice is the word I'm looking for. Yes, give some sort of justice to people like Cassie and Kimberly Porter and all of the other people that have come out that have suffered at the hands of these people trying to come up in this world in unscrupulous ways. So that is something that was quite shocking and interesting to see. The next thing that's been happening is like Kiki Palmer and her boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend now, I'm hoping, and just like how abusive he was. But like, I mean, that man was fucking shady. Like after the whole Usher thing, and I also saw this like one TikTok video of I think they were out on her birthday or something, and he couldn't name shit about her that he loved and appreciated, and I was just like, what the hell, my guy? Like genuinely, what the hell? Like, she seems like such an incredible human being, and he couldn't even name like 5 things that he loved about her. It's actually quite awkward and sad to watch, but you gotta keep your wits about you when it comes to these people, guys. Like genuinely, like, be alert and be aware. And I think the only way that we can be aware and alert and all of that stuff is by working on ourselves and staying grounded within our own like values and foundations and who we are, and knowing who we are, so that like where we can, and sometimes we may miss them because we are all human, but where we can recognize the signs of people just being all around bad for us. Like listen to your instincts, listen to your gut is all that I'm going to say about that situation. But it's absolutely been so wild, the things that have been popping up in the media, like about all of this like weird shit that's going on. It's like crazy, but in a way, I don't want to say it's nice that it's like not nice, because like obviously people have been impacted by these situations and lives have been lost and all of that, but and I'm not even talking specifically about the war that's going on right now. I'm just talking about like celebrity media mostly now. But in a way, it's kind of nice that it's kind of nice that this shit is coming to life, so that we're starting to recognize who people really are, and they are being called out by a huge group of people. Because like, hey, once TikTok like catches a whiff of something like shady that somebody does, you best believe everybody is going to be talking about it, and that person will be getting called out, like whether they want to hide what they've been doing or not. Like one way or another, everybody's going to speak, and it's going to become like a little bit of an outcry. So in a way, I feel like it's been kind of nice to see people like supporting people like Cassie, and like being like, oh yes, I remember like 5 years ago, like this had come out, and this and this and this and this, like kind of bringing in the receipts and just trying to bring justice for people that have been impacted in a really weird way. And I think it's good. Like, people must be like called out for the shit that they do, because ain't no way that you are going to be building an empire over here while people are suffering at the hands of you building this amazing life for yourself. Like, absolutely not. You need to get called out on that. Like, you need to go to jail. You need to be locked away. Like, you are not okay. You are not a safe member of society, my guy. Like, who knows what this man has been hiding? Who knows what all of them have been hiding. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I just feel like, like the veil of Hollywood and celebrities is being lifted, and it's quite an eye-opening experience, I will say. But yeah, anyway, so that's kind of like all the drama that's on the top of my head at this moment in time. The big thing that I really wanted to talk about, quite honestly, is just like dealing with disappointments. Just disappointments in life in general right now. And the reason why I say this is because, so I actually can't remember if I have spoken about it in any of my recent podcast episodes, but this weekend I competed in a pole competition, and obviously I was feeling a lot of nerves around the competition. Because Thursday I had practiced and the practice didn't necessarily go the way that I wanted to, and I was just feeling quite frustrated and was in my head about a lot of things. And it doesn't help that I feel like lately I've been in my head about my life in general, like from my job to like relationships, to like friendships, to like just me in general, feeling like I'm not growing at the rate that I want to be growing, that I'm still living at home, like a whole bunch of shit. I feel like 2023 has been the year of, like, I want to say struggle, in the sense that I was literally just doing like an audio like diary type situation, because like I just was feeling a lot of frustrations heavy on my heart, and I just felt like I needed to get like the words out there. I needed to like give life to the things that I've been feeling, because the worst thing that you can do when you're feeling something is to just keep it tucked deep inside and not give life to it. Because when you give life to it, almost, it just gives you the opportunity to work through those emotions, right? So anyway, things have just been feeling like not easy. Like finances haven't been working out as easily as they were. Relationships have not been working out as easily as they were. Like struggling with mental well-being and just being confused about how to make it in this life as a 25-year-old has been really, really tough. And so I feel like with this competition happening this weekend, I had put a lot of like my self-worth on that, and I think I had a lot of emotions riding on that competition validating my self-worth almost, because I think I was in this mindset of like, oh fuck, like work has been feeling really shitty, and I feel like I've been struggling in terms of feeling like I'm adding value in the workplace, and I just feel like I've been dropping the ball, and I've been questioning whether I'm good enough, and I feel like I haven't been bringing like the passion, the spice, and the shit that really gets me excited to this role. And so I was like, pole is something that I feel like gives me confidence and happiness, and you know, on some days like it feels like the moves come to me easily and I feel amazing while doing it, and it just felt really frustrating for me not to be getting the moves down on Thursday, and it felt really frustrating after I actually got my results after the competition. So I mean, I knew I wasn't 100% perfect when I went in there and did the moves, quite honestly, but I didn't think I did as badly as I did, you know. So last year, just to give you some context, I got a silver, and that was like my first competition ever. And so I was like riding this wave, like this high almost of like, oh my gosh, first competition and I got a silver, OMG. So this year I went from a silver, well last year I went from a silver to a bronze, and it just felt like a stab in the ego, because I was like, no one else fucking got a bronze and I'm out here rocking a bronze. And I feel like peeps could tell, like there was like a little bit of shock, because like when I'm in class, like I do my shit and I do my thing and it's good, and I feel like peeps were shocked that I got a bronze, because they were like, it was kind of like, what the fuck happened? And so I've just been carrying around this feeling of feeling embarrassed and a little bit disappointed in myself. So much so that I'm like, I don't want to go to pole because I feel embarrassed, and I don't want my instructor to tell me like how disappointed she is. But I knew that she was like disappointed in how I had performed. When she couldn't say well done after. I just knew that like I done fucked up somewhere, and yeah, it's not looking great for me. But I mean, I wasn't, in the moment when I received it and when I was talking to my people at pole, like obviously I was happy for them. And I didn't want them to like feel bad for me or pity me for getting a fucking bronze, because at the end of the day, this is not my end all and be all. Like, it's not my job. You know, I'm not reliant on it. But emotionally, I felt like maybe I was riding on getting a silver to kind of give me something happy, to give me something like exciting, like, oh shit, like everything feels like it's falling apart, and I feel like I'm probably not at the worst place, but I'm like pretty down low in terms of like where I am right now. But at least I got a fucking silver. Like, there's a silver lining. Literally. And I couldn't even get that. And like when I was driving away, like luckily like around the same time as I was coming from the competition, I was offered some tickets to the rugby. So I was like, you know what, fuck going home and just feeling sad and depressed. Like, I'm gonna go to this fucking rugby game with my best friend, and I'm gonna have a drink, and I'm gonna see what happens. Like, because like we've been speaking about, like I feel like it's definitely important to celebrate your wins. Like, it might not seem like a win, but it's a win. It's something. You did something for yourself, and that's important, and you need to celebrate that shit. So it just felt like it kind of worked out in my favor that, you know, the tickets came round about that same time. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go out, I'm going to enjoy myself, and yeah, I'm gonna have a good ass fucking time, and I'm not gonna really think about how I feel, at least for a couple of hours at the very least. And I'll come back to how I feel the next day, which is today, and that's exactly what we're doing. But yeah, anyway, so like I ended up having like quite an interesting evening, I won't lie. It was actually like a really busy afternoon. So like I had to go collect some shirts from stores because we're opening a couple of stores next week, and I'm traveling to those store openings. And I was like, you know what, let me just like try and shove all of this shit in my suitcase, which I have not packed yet because I don't want to fucking go. But I feel like this is like my week of like getting all of the shit out of the way, and after that I'll feel fine again, hopefully. But I feel like I need to stop basing my emotions, or like writing my emotions based on these circumstances, because like what if the fucking store openings go like shit? Like, will I still feel relieved after, or will I feel shitty that it didn't work out? Like, I don't know. I just need to find a sense of peace within, which is probably why I'm sitting outside and recording this right now. It's actually like so lovely, and I wish I could do this more often. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying I ended up having like a pretty interesting afternoon. Went to go pick up some teas with my best friend. Like, was there for like a hot while, and then we ended up bumping. Oh my gosh, I forgot. We ended up bumping into these guys, and they really liked my car, and I was like, thanks. And then he was like, oh, it's like such a nice car, like, and nice girls, like, what about you is nice? I was like, you ain't gonna find out. And he was like, I'm gonna follow you. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with men sometimes? Like, what makes you think that I find that attractive? That's actually fucking creepy. And the fact that my car is very noticeable, and you could probably stalk me if you wanted to, and I wouldn't be able to hide, is actually quite fucking scary. So anyway, he ends up like following us for a bit, and I don't know if he was trying to be jokey or if he was being serious, him and his friend. it was quite scary, but like eventually like we lost them, which is great. But I was just like, what the fuck, like why would you follow me? What if I was going to my man's house? You're gonna follow me to my man's house? Like, what's really good? But anyway, that situation was swiftly avoided, thankfully. Anyway, and like the fact that we as women, just a sidebar, you have to be nice to these men, because it's like, oh, like if I'm nice to you and I let you down gently, like maybe you fucking leave me alone. But some of them don't really get the hint, and they just think that you're joking, which is really annoying, especially when you are a nice person, people pleaser type situation. Like, there's only been one situation, just like a side amble, whereby I've ever felt the need to be like politely rude to somebody, and that was at, sorry, I'm just switching my positions, I'm lying down, and that was like during my best friend's birthday dinner that I had with her. Like, there were these old men that were obviously drinking throughout the entire day, and they would not leave us alone, and eventually I had to be like, can you fuck off, like kindly, like you're making us uncomfortable, like this is meant to be a dinner to celebrate my best friend, and you are making us uncomfortable, please leave. And eventually they did, but like that was the first time I ever actually like used my voice to like tell someone to please leave us alone, because I'm always like but like I don't know, I guess with time you kind of just learn to be a little bit more direct, and if people don't get that, like I'm gonna slap you in the face because you do not dare make me and my best friend feel uncomfortable on her birthday. Like, fuck off, for real. Anyway, so what was I saying? So after we made it to like the stadium and all of that, and we were late, like there was like, we didn't have parking tickets, like I still had to go try and find these fucking tickets, and that sent us on a whole like wild goose chase, and we were super late for the game. And I was really hungry at that point. I was actually hangry, honestly, which is probably why it's probably why I was like feeling a little bit more upset, because I was hangry. But you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so I ended up we ended up going to the game and watching the game and having like a really nice time, and I feel like we needed that, because I feel like I've been so out of it with all of my relationships, and mostly with my best friend. Like, her and I would talk absolutely like every single day, and I've just been in this energy that's so heavy that I just can't get myself to respond on some days, and I just feel like I crave a sense of levity almost. Like I can't deal with any heavy shit, like conversations about futures and what are you doing, and fucking feeling miserable and confused. Like I can't do it at this point in time, because it just feels too real. And I don't know if that's just me being avoidant, but like it just feels really hard to talk about that shit right now. Like, even confronting my current work situation has been really difficult, because I feel like I'm in a place whereby I'm stumped, because I know what I want to do with my life. Like, if I could have the opportunity to fucking do podcasting full time, make some money off of it to live, I fucking would. I wouldn't be searching for a job, because I don't want another job. Like, I told myself that after this I would be done with corporate, and so looking for other jobs and seeing what's on the market, even though it has been really eye-opening and interesting, has really like felt very counterintuitive to what I want to do to my for my future, and it feels like I'm going backwards in a sense. And also I have that feeling of like, better the devil you know. Like, what if I go to another place and it's like 10 times worse? On the other hand, I'm like, do I find something a little bit more chilled out that's going to give me a little bit more space to work on the shit that I actually want to work on and grow my shit? Like, there's so many different fucking options, and like, I don't know at this point, like, what is the best case scenario here? And it feels even worse because my dad is like, let's talk about your future. What are you doing next year? And my mom is like, you should study. Take some unpaid leave. And I'm like, I can't take unpaid leave. Who's going to pay for my gym and my car and my insurance and my beauty shit? Because I know how much that shit costs. And y'all are not going to be footing the bill for that. So I can't not have a job. It will freak me the fuck out. Like, I will honestly panic. I don't have savings to live on, and I still have debt that I need to pay off. So the fuck you mean? Oh, just don't have a job. Like, if I had very minimal expenses, I'd be like, yeah, cool. But like, y'all have trained me to live this life of like fun and luxury, and I've gotten used to being able to pay for shit on my own, even though sometimes it's like really like hardcore and I'm just making it. But like, there's absolutely no way I'd be able to do that. So it's stuff like that that's just been really hard, and I know I need to face it, but I feel like I just, in some ways I need time, but also I need my gut to tell me what to do at the same time. Like, I don't want anyone else telling me what to do with my life and my future aside from myself. And I think that kind of is what, ends up making me and my parents clash a bit, because obviously I see that they see how I'm feeling and they want to help and they want to provide suggestions, but I feel like they won't fully understand what it is that I'm trying to accomplish until I come through with some results or some sort of like track record of, hey, I've been doing this and it's been resulting in these kind of results almost, and I see it going in this way, and this is where I'd like to be full time. I would like a little bit of time, and I feel like it feels sucky to ask people for time on your life. Like, it just feels like an added layer of pressure, because it's like, in a way, I think they want me to like move out, they want me to do all of these things, and like, I feel like I have this need or this pressure to have it figured out so that they know, okay, she's gonna leave at this point. Like, I don't know. It's really tricky. And it's really hard. But yeah. Anyway, so I guess in a way this year has been filled with like some disappointments as well. Like, just in terms of like the dating scene as well. I think I came into this year with this expectation that like a relationship that I had in mind would like work out to my benefit, and it didn't really, which in itself is like just really disappointing. And also the realization that, hey, like maybe this person isn't as into you as you thought they were, also like kind of hurts. And I won't lie, it's been really hard digesting those sorts of like disappointments of things just not working out in your favor. But at the same time, I recognize that, and I've said this before, I can't remember, oh my gosh guys, I had like a freaking moment of like panic, because like yesterday and while we were having drinks, like my nail broke. And I just glued it on this morning because I don't have time to go to my nail salon. I don't think they open on a Sunday to go get it fixed. So I glued it on, and now I couldn't see like the little crack. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's magically glued on. But I was looking at the other hand. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh gosh, now I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's been hard to kind of digest some of these disappointments. And yeah, anyway, I feel like we can't always have a winning season. That's kind of where I was going. Like, there will be times in life where we need to take a couple of L's, and I think that in itself really helps define our character a lot more, because how you bounce back from a series of setbacks and disappointments and confusions and all of that just determines how successful you will be in future. And I won't lie, it's very disheartening to feel like you're not winning on all fronts, especially if you're a person that's kind of used to winning and used to having your way in life. And then all of a sudden it's starting to feel like, oof, actually life is a lot tougher than it was when I was in varsity getting straight fucking A's and B's, and like I didn't really have to apply myself way too much. Like now I'm faced with like a real life situation where I have to kind of get my head out of the clouds and kind of apply some pressure to make some shit happen in my life. And I think that's kind of like a lesson that you learn when you grow up being somewhat sheltered from the realities of the world. And granted, I feel like my parents would say, oh no, maybe we didn't shelter you. Oh, actually no, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they would say that they did shelter me quite a lot as a kid. But I think that's kind of like what I appreciate about people that have been exposed to some sort of struggle, like in their come up in life. They're able to, I guess, apply some sort of grit towards their life that like helps them push through and, you know, get shit done and get through some shit, like versus growing up in a little bit of a more sheltered headspace and then suddenly being faced with the realities of life and then trying to work your way through. It feels so fucking hard because suddenly you have to find this grit and resilience within yourself to kind of push through and make something of yourself, because like 96% of the time no rich multi-millionaire is gonna come and save you, especially if you've got big goals for yourself and big dreams. Like you have to find something deep within yourself to push through the setbacks and make it work. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's a pill that you have to swallow at some point nonetheless, because like as much as I preach about like doing life with love and magic, like life can sometimes be a bitch. It can sometimes be really difficult, you know, and like you can't cry and be angry about everything that kind of like happens for you, like every single time you meet some sort of resistance. Like you have to try and push through it, because that in itself will just determine like, are you actually meant for this life that you say that you want? Like you gotta push through. Like what are you doing about it? Like how are you handling these disappointments? And I feel like a big way that I've been trying to handle the disappointments is by actually feeling it when I do experience it, and just telling myself that it's temporary, you know, and hopefully things will get better. And a huge way that I've been trying to like cope through these moments of confusion and disappointment and just like not understanding shit and like fucking just being all over the place is, number one, going to therapy. I find like just talking about it with a third party really does help take the edge off a little bit. Like honestly, I feel like if I could do therapy more often, I really would. At this point in time, I feel like it might not be enough to just do therapy once a month. I might need to kick it up to 2, but unfortunately I'm at that space whereby financially the finances are not financing, and I am like going into next year doing my best to like try and reduce my costs like where I can. So I've got a plan of action for that, which is absolutely lovely and amazing. But yeah, I just find that channeling my emotions into therapy, like audio, visual, journaling sometimes, like writing, like when I feel heavy emotions, I feel like I tend to like write about those in my digital journal. Because I just haven't bought myself a real journal, and I just might for 2024, because yeah, I feel like I need to get back into that shit. So I've really been, you know, listening to all of that. The next thing is just to try, and this is something that I've really like honed into in the past like 2 weeks, I would say, because I think this has been the time that I've been feeling the most amount of stress. And I just feel like ever since I had that conversation with my mom in the kitchen again, and she's like, dude, you're not happy, it's just brought a level of awareness to everything again. And so I've just been really trying to listen to more uplifting content, as in where I can, like on the weekends. Like, it's not really the same. I want to watch my trashy things, honestly. But then during the week, like, I listen to people like Heinz. I freaking, like, listen to anything that sounds amazing and fun. And I feel like it just helps me clear my headspace a little bit more and gives me a sense of hope, where sometimes it feels like there is no hope. And that's the one thing about the 20s that they don't tell you, is that sometimes, well, maybe they do tell you, I don't know. I don't engage, like, from what I've seen, like, some people have mentioned it and some people haven't. So one thing about the 20s is that, like, you don't realize as you're growing up that it can tend to be like quite a lonely journey and very confusing journey, because ultimately no one can tell you what to do with your life but you're the one who at the end of the day makes all of the decisions in terms of which direction you want to go. And it can be so tough being unclear on which direction you want to go, and it can feel like you're in it alone, but I think we all go through it. And the thing that we need to try and keep at the back of our minds when we're going through it, when it feels like there's no hope and everything feels like it's falling apart, is that, you know, our parents, okay, granted it was a different time, but people go through their 20s like all the time, and they say when you start getting to your 30s, you know who you are, you've made some mistakes, okay, granted you still make some more mistakes, but for the most part you've made mistakes, you've done all of the shit to build the foundations for going forward. Like, this is the time to feel those feelings of confusion, to be upset, to like feel that there are walls up that you need to break down in order to get to your destination. Like, this is the time to experience all of that. This is the time to, you know, make something of yourself. And if you feel called to do something, it is just so important for you to do that thing, because like it might be quite a while before you can like do it again. Not to say that, you know, you only get one shot in your 20s to do something. You'll always have a shot, but like, if you feel called to do certain things, you must do them now. Anyway, I just went on a whole side tangent about the 20s, where I was meant to be talking about how to handle disappointment and all of that. The next thing is to just understand disappointments in general, and just know that it's a normal emotion to feel, and it's because you place such value on certain things that you want to do. So if you value somebody and you know, value the relationship that you have, and you feel disappointed that the relationship didn't pan out in the way that you wanted, it's because you place value on that person, and you had expectations that, you know, the relationship would result in something really beautiful and something amazing that would be beneficial to your life. And, you know, you need to honor that. And you can't be, you know, down on yourself for feeling that way about placing value on something and being disappointed when it doesn't work out in the way that you wanted it to, you know. What's the word? I was gonna say something else and now I've completely blanked out. But disappointment is normal, it's healthy. And what I wanted to say is, you mustn't let disappointment and maybe feelings of embarrassment that come with being disappointment stop you from pursuing that thing even further. I was mentioning earlier on that I obviously felt disappointed about the result that I got from the competition, and it just made me question whether I wanted to carry on doing pole. Like, I just feel embarrassed to show my face in the class. But like, resilience and building your character is honestly determined by how you show up after facing moments of disappointment, and albeit, I guess, feeling like those kind of more negative feelings almost. Like, you mustn't let them stop you from carrying on and doing what you want, because that could be an amazing narrative, like part of your story. Like, oh my gosh, like I started something and it didn't work out in the way that I wanted it to work out, but it led me to something a lot more beautiful. Like, it doesn't always necessarily mean, like, for example, if you started like a skincare company or whatever, and you were making soaps in your bathroom, and then like it failed completely and you had to tell everyone that, oh, I'm not doing that anymore, doesn't necessarily mean that the next day you're going to open a multi-millionaire, like, freaking, I don't know, empire or whatever it is in the skincare industry. But maybe you might discover that actually I prefer creating products for hair care, and then that could lead you down the path of success in the hair care industry over the skincare industry. And if not that, like, having moments of disappointment, like, can really help strengthen your character almost, because it takes a lot of grit, a lot of resilience, and a lot of character to be able to rise up from situations that technically should get you down. And I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice and the world a disservice by giving up after you fail a first time or a second time. Like, being in this world, you have to get used to failing and disappointment that comes with failing, because you're not always going to get it right. And you have to give yourself some grace for doing it, and you need to reward yourself and applaud yourself for trying in the first place, and even more so applaud yourself for getting back into it even after you fall on your face. I think that is more important than winning all of the gold in the world, but just your ability to bounce back after you, like, face several setbacks is just, it's a very admirable quality to have and a very admirable quality to embody. And so I just encourage you to show up for yourself, especially if something is important to you and you feel like, you failed at it for some reason. Please don't give up, and just keep on keeping on is all I will say. That's really all I will say. But anyway, that's kind of where my mind has been at. I'm actually feeling really hungry right now, so I just might go make a snack and then come back and work on some cool shit that's exciting and great and fun. I've been working on, I've been working on as if I'm doing it on a regular basis, but last week I created like a soundtrack to like nature sounds, and I thought it was really cool, and so I'm gonna start like uploading those onto YouTube. Kind of like a not chilled cow. What is that chickie? Is it chilled cow? I feel like it's chilled cow. That chickie poo with the headphones on YouTube that sits there and then she listens to music. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've always really enjoyed music in a sense, and music has the ability to give me a lot of peace and calm. And so, like, when I was younger, I used to really enjoy like messing around with music. Not to say I'm gonna be a producer or anything, but I had a lot of fun doing that shit. So I am going to try and do that again. And yeah, that is pretty much me in a nutshell. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you so much for listening to all of the things that I had to say, even though I was going around and around and around and around in circles. I appreciate you. Never ever give up on your dreams, and like, honestly, just take care of yourself, and advocate for yourself, because no one else is going to do it unless you do. No one else is gonna do it unless you do. So yeah, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, and just know that a couple of failures doesn't mean that you have failed in life. It's honestly a season that will pass, and will just really appreciate your win. Will just really help you appreciate your wins more as you experience them, and just help you learn that not to get a huge head. I think, imagine if you just win and win and win and win all the time. Like, it'll probably go to your head. Like, you know, like the more you lose, I feel, or when you do experience some losses, you must just learn how to accept those losses with grace. Like, pick up the lessons that we're meant to learn from them. Like, feel the feelings around those losses that we do feel, and then we get back up and we carry on even stronger and more motivated than ever. So yeah, that's kind of like my message to you today. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I will chat to you, if not tomorrow, the day after that. And as always, check out my description for all of the links to my socials, my blog, which I try to update on a semi-frequently basis. I've been really bad with it in the past 2 weeks, but I'm hoping with everything being over for the most part this week that we can jump back into it next week. And then what else? Oh yes, please engage by reviewing the podcast on any major platforms that you do listen to it on, and I don't know, there's that poll questionnaire, answer that thing. That would be amazing. And on the reviews, please only give 4.5 stars and above, please. I'm very fragile, as you can tell. I've taken a lot of L's this year. Please help me win at something. Jokes. Yeah. Anyway, that's me. See you later. Goodbye. Love you. You are loved. You are amazing. You are fabulous. And yeah, I appreciate you so much if no one has told you. Okay, bye.